You're over 60, and constipation has become a constant. And I bet you've already tried everything. Vegetables, fruits, probiotics, medication, even hospital visits. The doctor says, nothing's wrong. A colonoscopy shows, no issues. It sounds reassuring, but you still sit in the bathroom for 20 to 30 minutes, straining, your face flushed, your abdomen bloated like a balloon, your body completely drained. The worst part is the helplessness. You start asking yourself, I've done everything right, so why can't I go? Here's the truth many older adults avoid. As age increases, the gut slows down. Digestive muscles weaken. Water intake drops. Physical movement decreases. And every day, more medications enter the system. Constipation then becomes a new, baseline condition. But don't fool yourself with, it's just old age. Chronic constipation is not just discomfort. It can lead to hemorrhoids, anal fissures, diverticulitis, and even electrolyte imbalance from overusing laxatives. And the worst part? You take medication just to get it over with, while the gut becomes more dependent, and even slower. In this video, I'll show you 3 vegetables that can reactivate your bowel movement quickly. The third one is especially powerful. And I'll also reveal 2 foods that make constipation worse after 60. Cut them immediately if you don't want to stay stuck in the bathroom. Have you ever wondered why, after 60, constipation seems to stick like a shadow? It's not because you're unclean, and it's not because you're eating badly. This is a combination of 5 factors silently weakening the digestive system with age. First, intestinal muscles become weaker and slower. The intestines rely on rhythmic contractions to move waste forward. With age, these contractions lose strength and frequency, so stool stays in the colon longer. And the longer it stays, the drier, harder, and more difficult it becomes to pass. Second, digestive enzymes decline. The body produces fewer enzymes, and digestion slows down. You may be eating the same foods as before, but the system no longer processes them with the same efficiency as it did at 30. Third, daily medications. Blood pressure drugs, diabetes medications, pain relievers, iron, calcium. Many of them have side effects that slow intestinal movement and draw water out of stool. They support one system, while quietly burdening another. Fourth, reduced water intake. With age, the sensation of thirst diminishes, or fluid intake is limited to avoid nighttime urination. Without enough water, stool becomes dry, and fiber cannot function properly. Fifth, lack of movement. When physical activity decreases, the mechanical stimulation that helps trigger bowel movement also fades. Without that signal, intestinal motion slows even further. Constipation after 60 is not fate. It is a mechanism. And once the mechanism is understood, it can be adjusted. So the system begins to move again, as it should. If constipation lasts a few days, it's uncomfortable. But when it stretches into weeks or months, it's no longer just about not being able to go. It becomes a chain of problems, pulling the entire body down. First, hemorrhoids and anal fissures. The more you strain, the greater the pressure. Veins in the rectal area swell, becoming painful and inflamed. Fissures feel like a sharp tear. Bleeding can occur during bowel movements. Then comes avoidance, holding it in. And the more it's held, the worse the constipation becomes. A cycle that quietly repeats, day after day. Second, fecal impaction. Stool becomes dry and hardened, lodged in the colon. Straining no longer works. The abdomen becomes bloated, nausea appears, appetite fades, energy drains away. In severe cases, medical intervention is required to remove it, a process that is physically difficult and deeply uncomfortable. Third, diverticulitis. When stool builds up, pressure inside the colon increases. Small pouches in the intestinal wall can become inflamed. Pain develops. Fever may follow. Digestion becomes unstable. Some cases require hospitalization. Fourth, disruption of the gut microbiome. When waste remains too long, the internal environment shifts. Gas increases. Bloating intensifies. The body feels heavy. Appetite becomes irregular. And if laxatives are overused just to force a result, there is a risk of dehydration, electrolyte imbalance, weakness, and a further slowdown of natural bowel function. So, here is the truth. Constipation is not a minor issue. It is a signal that the digestive system is struggling and asking for correction. Many people over 60, the moment constipation appears, immediately turn to laxatives. Take one, and the bowel moves. Relief. But hear this clearly. Short-term comfort. Long-term cost. First problem, dependency. You take it once and see results. Then twice. Then 10 times. Gradually, the bowel adapts to one condition. Only move when stimulated. This is how the so-called lazy bowel forms. Without the drug, nothing happens. With the drug, the dose must increase to get the same effect. At that point, it's no longer treatment. It's reinforcement of the problem. Second problem, dehydration and electrolyte imbalance. Many laxatives draw water into the intestines to soften stool. Yes, bowel movement happens. But that water comes from the body. Levels of potassium, sodium, and magnesium can drop. In older adults, this becomes dangerous. Fatigue, muscle cramps, low blood pressure, irregular heartbeat, muscle weakness. Third problem, long-term irritation. Repeated stimulation can affect the intestinal lining. Cramping appears. Diarrhea alternates with constipation. And confusion follows. Why is this getting worse? This is not a call for absolute avoidance. But if laxatives have become a daily habit, that pattern needs to stop. The real solution is foundational. Eat properly, hydrate sufficiently, restore natural bowel movement. Not dependence on stimulation. Solution number 1 to tackle constipation after 60 is okra. Sounds simple, right? Something cheap, easy to find, but surprisingly effective. Many people avoid it because of the slimy texture. That's fine, but then the same pattern repeats. Straining, discomfort, long minutes in the bathroom. The body doesn't respond to preference. It responds to structure. So why is okra effective? First, it's rich in soluble fiber. This type of fiber pulls water into the intestines, keeping stool soft and hydrated, making it easier to pass with less strain. Second, it also contains insoluble fiber. This adds bulk to stool, creating the physical stimulus needed for intestinal movement. A slower colon needs a reason to activate. Third, the slime people dislike is actually the key. It's called mucilage, a natural gel-like substance. It acts as a lubricant, helping stool move more smoothly through the intestines, reducing friction and discomfort. But here's the critical point. Fiber without water works against you. Fiber absorbs water. If intake is low, stool becomes even drier, harder, and constipation worsens. So if okra increases, water must increase with it, especially in the morning and throughout the day. How to use it? Steam or boil. With a light seasoning, avoid heavy sauces. Add it to soups with tomatoes or tofu. Quick stir-fry with garlic and a small amount of olive oil. If the digestive system is sensitive, start small, 5 to 7 pods per day, then gradually increase. Stay consistent for 7 to 10 days, and the system begins to respond. Lighter, more regular, more natural. Because in the end, the body doesn't need something complicated. It needs the right conditions repeated consistently. Solution number 2 to tackle constipation after 60 is cabbage. And if you're the type who says, I already eat vegetables, but I'm still constipated, then the real question is, how are you eating them? A few leaves here and there, low water intake, little to no movement. No vegetable can compensate for that. But when chosen and used correctly, cabbage becomes a simple, yet highly effective tool. Why does it work? First, cabbage contains both soluble and insoluble fiber. Soluble fiber helps retain water, keeping stools soft. Insoluble fiber increases stool bulk, stimulating intestinal movement. In simple terms, it softens and it pushes. Second, cabbage is rich in water. This is especially important for older adults, when the sense of thirst is reduced. Even if fluid intake is low, hydration can still come through food. Cabbage supports this process, helping prevent stool from becoming dry and hard, reducing strain and discomfort during bowel movement. Third, when fermented like kimchi or sauerkraut, cabbage provides beneficial bacteria. The gut microbiome often becomes less stable with age. Fermented foods can help restore balance, reduce bloating, and regulate bowel patterns. How to use it? Light cabbage soup with carrots or tofu, gentle and easy to digest. Steamed or boiled cabbage, with a small amount of olive oil and seasoning. Quick stir-fry with garlic, avoid overcooking or excessive oil. If using fermented forms, keep portions moderate to avoid excess sodium. One key point: fiber without sufficient water reduces effectiveness. Stay consistent for 7 days, and the digestive rhythm begins to shift. Lighter, smoother, more regular. Solution number 3, and the most powerful for constipation after 60, is beetroot. If okra acts as a lubricant and cabbage helps with hydration, then beetroot works like a trigger for the digestive system. Many people think of beetroot as just red, sweet, good for blood. That's incomplete. For constipation, its value goes further. It doesn't just soften stool. It helps the intestines move more effectively. Why is beetroot so effective? First, it contains fiber. Fiber adds bulk and retains water, preventing stool from becoming dry and hard. But the key factor lies in something else. Beetroot is rich in natural nitrates. Once inside the body, nitrates are converted into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide helps relax smooth muscle and supports blood vessel dilation. In simple terms, the intestines function like a tube with rhythmic contractions. With age, that movement becomes slower, weaker, less coordinated. Nitric oxide helps open the pathway, improving blood flow to the digestive system and supporting smoother intestinal movement. The result: less stagnation, more consistent movement, and more natural bowel function. But this is not a quick fix. It only works when used correctly. Common mistake 1. Drinking too much beetroot juice at once, leading to discomfort or bloating. Common mistake 2. Consuming beetroot without enough water, which reduces its effectiveness. How to use beetroot. In the morning, a small glass of diluted beetroot juice with a few slices of ginger, no added sugar. As a salad, boiled or roasted beetroot, sliced with olive oil and lemon. In soups, combined with lentils or chickpeas, providing both fiber and sustained energy. A small note: a reddish tint in urine or stool is normal, no need for concern. Stay consistent for 5 to 7 days, and the digestive rhythm begins to stabilize. More regular, more responsive, more natural. Listen carefully. This is direct, no wasted time. No matter how powerful those 3 vegetables are, they become meaningless if you keep holding on to 2 self-sabotaging eating habits. You can boil okra every day. You can eat cabbage in large amounts. You can drink beetroot consistently. But if you're still consuming the same 2 things that many people over 60 eat daily, constipation will come back. Not because the vegetables don't work, but because you're pressing the brake while expecting the system to move forward. This is where many people deceive themselves. Maybe it's just age. Maybe it's my body. Maybe I need more supplements. No, constipation continues because it is being reinforced. Here's a simple test. For the next 7 days, keep the 3 vegetables in your routine, but remove exactly 2 specific foods. No negotiation. No, just a little. Remove them completely. By day 3 to 5, the difference becomes noticeable. And if you're not willing to remove them, then there's no point complaining. Because at that point, it's not a lack of solutions. It's a choice to maintain the problem. Now, get ready. The 2 main culprits that worsen constipation after 60 are coming next. Let's be direct. Dairy and dairy-based foods are one of the main culprits that make constipation worse after 60. Many people keep consuming them, thinking it's good for bones, good for health. But the immediate effect is often the opposite. The digestive system slows down. Why does dairy contribute to constipation? First, it contains almost no fiber. Constipation is, at its core, a lack of structural material to move stool. Milk, cheese, cream are rich in protein and fat, but fiber is absent. The more they replace other foods, the less the gut has to work with. Second, reduced lactose tolerance. With age, lactase enzyme levels decline. Lactose is no longer fully broken down. This can lead to bloating, digestive discomfort, and, in some cases, irregular bowel patterns. Not always diarrhea. Sometimes it results in slowed transit and hardened stool. Third, dense dairy products. Cheese, in particular, has low water content and a compact structure. When digestion is already slow, this adds to the burden. Fourth, displacement of fiber-rich foods. Dairy often replaces meals instead of complementing them. Vegetables, legumes, whole grains are reduced or removed. The result is not immediate, but over time, the system loses balance. What can be used instead? Plant-based alternatives such as oat milk or almond milk. If dairy is necessary, lactose-free options may reduce discomfort. Breakfast can shift toward fiber-rich combinations. Oats with banana and seeds like chia or flax. Or a smoothie with almond milk, beetroot, berries, and seeds. A simple adjustment, maintained consistently over several days, allows the body to respond on its own, because the system reflects what it receives. And what is removed? If you're over 60 and dealing with constipation, here's the direct truth. Red meat and processed meat are foods you need to reduce, or remove for a period of time. Many people believe you need meat to stay strong, but what often shows up first is a digestive system that slows down. Why does red meat contribute to constipation? First, it contains no fiber. Beef, pork, sausage, bacon, 0 grams of fiber. The colon needs bulk and water to move stool forward. A diet built mostly on meat provides neither. The result, stool becomes dense, heavy, and remains in place. Second, it is harder to digest and often higher in saturated fat. With age, digestion naturally slows. Denser food requires more effort to process, which further delays movement through the system. As transit slows, more water is absorbed in the colon, and stool becomes drier. Third, processed meats add another layer. Sausages, smoked meats, canned products are often high in sodium, low in moisture, and contain additives. Fluid balance shifts, and within the colon, less moisture remains available for stool. What can replace it? Plant-based protein sources such as lentils, chickpeas, and beans, providing both protein and fiber. Fish like salmon or mackerel, easier to digest and supportive of overall health. If meat is still included, choose leaner options and pair with a larger portion of vegetables. A short adjustment period can reveal how strongly diet influences digestive rhythm. Because when structure becomes lighter, movement becomes easier. Before you leave this video, give me just 20 seconds, because this can make your daily life easier. If you're over 60 and dealing with persistent constipation, do 2 things. Add the 3 vegetables I just shared, and remove the 2 culprits, dairy and red, processed meat, for at least 7 days. Don't do it halfway. Half effort gives half results, and you end up back in the same cycle. To make it simple, so you don't have to wonder, what should I eat today, to make it easier? I've prepared a set of high-fiber recipes. Easy to cook, easy to digest, and suitable for older adults. You'll find the link in the pinned comment and in the description. Open it, follow the meals step by step. No need to overthink, just stay consistent. And if you want the next video on 5 nuts that help reduce numbness, burning feet, and support nerve health, comment nuts so I know you're interested. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, so the platform keeps showing you content that improves your health, not content that drains it.